Hi everyone, it's Cindy with Pups and Crochet. I have decided today is Ponytail Day because I'm really missing my mama, and she always said everything was better with ponytails. But she used to use those ones with the little balls on it so that when they put them up and she missed it, it would go click and knock you in the head. I think that's why a lot of us from the 70s and 80s have knots on our heads and are a little crazy, but that's okay. But that really hurt too, if you remember those. I don't know if you do. If you do, let me know, because they were really crazy and they hurt when they flipped off, man. Woo. And I want to thank all the new subscribers and all my rest of my Yarny family for being here with me and working with me and trying to get to this 200. I'm going to be getting a new tripod so that I can turn it down so I can video crocheting, because this one for some reason has a hard time doing it. I don't know why, but it does. So you work and learn, right? Okay. But I do want to thank you all. I've met such wonderful people, and I keep meeting new ones after new ones after new ones, and I'm just so happy to have friends that like to talk about yarn and like things like that, because I mean, Robert, he loves it, because he knows it makes me happy. And I can't work anymore because of my disabilities and stuff, so this keeps me busy and keeps my hands going so that I can, I can't crochet as long as I used to and as much as I wanted to, but I still do okay. And, you can't ever complain, because somebody always has it worse than you. So I don't ever try to complain. I just suck it up and move on, because that's all you can do, right? Okay, well, I want to show you some more yarn I got from Hobby Lobby, because I've been out of the loop a little bit with taking care of Peanut, and he is doing wonderful. I think he had a little pain yesterday because I think the stitches are finally tightening and dissolving, so he cried. It was whimpering all night, so I sat up till 4 o'clock almost this morning, just rubbing his little chin like this, and then he would stop whimpering, and then I'd rub his neck and taking care of him. And then Monkey just didn't like the storms. We're having really, really bad storms. Like I was telling you before, they came all the way around us, went back to where I used to live, where most of my family still lives and stuff. Well, now you can't even watch TV without alerts coming on. Tornadoes, flooding, this, that. I'm like, man, what? If it rained anymore, we're going to have to see Ark coming by. But, the better the rain, the better the corn. And when we first moved out here, everybody was when we were in the stores, like getting stuff that we needed for the house that moved in that we didn't, have. Everybody was talking about the corn guy, the corn guy, the corn guy. And we're like, what corn guy? What are they talking about? So I finally couldn't stand it anymore. And I walked up to this lady and I said, excuse me. I said, what is the corn guy? Is this someplace we're missing? What is it? She goes, oh my God, girl, you have not seen the corn guy? I said, no. So I'm like, okay. She's like, he sits over in this, there's a little grassy lot, and it has a tiny little drive-through, or like a driveway in it. And this guy comes from like 4 towns over, I think. And he brings his corn. He grows it, he shucks it, he does everything with it. So he brings a whole trailer behind his truck full of corn. And you get 12 corns for $5. So I'm like, okay. So everybody's running. I see the guy, I see them all running up there with $5 bills, and I'm like, okay. So I had a 10. I walked up there and I said, I'd like $10 in corn. And he goes, you want 24 corns? I said, 24 corns? Okay, 24 corns. So I brought it home, and, you know, I got one of those great big cooking pots for like when Mom would make soups and stews and, you know, everything. And so you just take the corn, you know, you wash it with water a little bit, and then you get that water in there salted. You put the corn upside down so those tails, the hard ends, stick up, okay? And you let it just cook like that for like an hour, maybe a little longer, if you don't grill it. Some people don't pull their grill out for that, but this is how I do it. So then you take it out of the water. After it's done, you take it out about an hour. I usually do mine like an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minutes, just to make sure that everything's done. And then I take it out, and you cut that hard end off, and then you grab a hold of it and either use a rag or whatever, because it's hot, and you slam it on the counter, and then the corn will come out without any of those little strings. So that's how you do it, without the strings. Then you don't have to pull all them strings off. So don't husk your corn before you cook it. Do it like that. It works great. For real. And the other thing is, you know, I have really bad arthritis, so like my hands sometimes don't work, and this finger is permanently bent from where the arthritis had hit it first. So I can like push it straight, but it just goes right back. It never changes. But anyway, so I have a hard time opening things. Well, I can't ever find my little round thing that you open cans with. So I went to the dollar store and I bought those liners that you put down. It's those little line, you know, it's a roll of liners, and it's got the little stripes with the little holes in it, and you line your cabinets with it. So I got one of those, cut little squares and circles out, use those, pop them open, boom, instant jar openers for $1. And you can make like 50 of them out of that roll, if not more. But they're always good to have. So that's a good idea, just so you know. I wanted to go over some of my yarns from Joann's that I still have, that I haven't, you know, caught up with yet. And I wanted to tell some of the new subscribers, because one of the ladies sent me an email asking me about myself, and then I realized my first video when I first started this got messed up and I lost it. I still can't find it, so I don't know where it went, and it's gone. So I'm Cindy. This is Pups and Crochet. I love pups, I love crochet. And you can watch my other videos and you'll meet Munchkin and Peanut, and then my bird Noah, who sometimes does videos with me. And then when she's done, she brings her little cap up and she's ready for tea time. So she likes Arnold Palmer tea, like me. So she loves tea. We freeze it, then pour the tea on top of it, and then you got icy tea all the time without it watered down. So when my bottles get about like that full, I stick them in the freezer, freeze them, pour regular tea on top. It stays instantly cold for a long time. So now I'm going to show you some yarn. Then I'm going to talk to you some more, because I have so much I want to tell you, because I've been going crazy. You know, I talk to the dogs, but it's like they get tired of listening to me too. And Robert works and then he sleeps, and so it's just me and you. So let's talk some yarn. Okay, I did go back and we got some different kinds because Robert found them and he's been really good at picking yarn. So I got this color play. It's called Love by Limelight. It was $4.99. I paid $1.24 for it. And it's got all those pretty colors. Now it's a little thicker than I normally would use. It's got 60 yards in here. So, but it's so squishy. And you know, gotta have the squish. If you don't have the squish, it's not that good. But I figured I'll give it a try and see what I can make out of it. Okay, then I got this wild streak called Riverstone. It's got 135 yards in it. It's $4.99, so I paid $1.24. And it's got all these grays, but down in there is this cream color. So it's like gray and white, and then you get cream, and I don't know if there's anything else in the middle. More gray. Sometimes they stick surprises down in these, and you don't know what's in there. But that yarn beef wild streak. And then I got some more of the crimping yarn. The Baby Bee Darling Dear, 295 yards. Because I told you the crimping reminds me of the 80s. And as we're talking about 80s, you know, I still have my same curling iron from 1984 that I still use when I do my hair. But I haven't done my hair the last few days because all we're getting is rain and thunderstorms, tornado warnings, flash floods, everything. But that's okay. But so yeah, I still have that. And then Robert for Christmas bought me a gold, it's called, I think it was golden rod or something, but it's a real fancy curling iron, and it's got a bigger barrel so that I can curl my hair. But as you see, it's so thin. I would love to have some puffy ponytails, but I don't. Okay, then I got this. I love this yarn. And these do have patterns, so make sure when you cut them, if you cut them, go on the seam so you don't mess up the patterns, because they've got really cute ones. And this one's got some kind of like little like octagon blankets on it. It's really cute. And this is called Marled Forest. And it's like a green and a yellowish tone. And it's really soft. And this thing's got, what do they got? 252 yards. And it was $4.99. I paid $1.24 for this. And then Robert picked this one out. It's got 259 yards. It's called Baby Lulu. And this one's called Hugs and Kiss. I think it should be Hugs and Kisses, but it's Hugs and Kiss. And it's so cute. It was $5.99. I got it for $1.49. And it's really, really fuzzy. Like, there's the center pole. So I'm going to see how this works with all this. I mean, I know it's a halo, they say on it, but we'll see how it works up. I'll let you know. But it's this. If I made this into a pillow, Munchkin would take it. It is that squishy. She would never get off that thing. And when we went there, they only had 2 of the flamingos left that I paid $1.24 for. That was $4.99. So I got the last 2 because I have 2 and I wanted to make something with it. So I want to make sure that I don't run out because they're not going to carry this color anymore. So this has 300 yards, and I think it says 300 yards. So I got the last 2 of those. Then I got another ice cream, the strawberries that I showed you last time, $1.49. They still have 1 left. And then Robert picked this one out too. It's called Yarn Bee Soft Secret Ombre. It's called Gold Dust, 199 yards. Okay, 199 yards. Why don't you just put the extra yard and do 200? Why is it 199? That's so crazy. But it's $4.99 and it's for $1.24. And the color of this one is called Gold Dust. And if you look, you can see all those different colors. The maroons, the whites, the yellows, the grays, the dark blues into a kind of bluish green. It's got all them colors in there. That's pretty. And then I got a couple more of the crimping ones that I didn't get before, because Robert found all these new colors and he enables me. I'm supposed to be on a yarn ban because I bought too much and I overdid my budget. For me, my budget. Not that he puts me on a budget. No, it's my budget for myself of what I spend and what I spend it on. But I couldn't pass up the sale. And then when we go in there, I went in there for one thing, because I needed one neon green, and it had to be that brand because I'm making something out of it that I want to show you. But I needed one more skein of it. So we get in there and get the one thing, and then he starts tossing all these in the cart, telling me, look at this one, look at this one. So these are Robert's picks, even though, because he knows I like the crimp. Okay, this one's Darling Dear, $2.95, and it's called Dollies and Parasols. And it's got all those pretty colors in there, purples and pinks and oranges and yellows. I love that. And then he found this one, which is the Antoinette Blue. And these have 62 yards in them. Now they were $4.99. We paid $1.44. This is the Antoinette. And this one is called Carolina Wilderness. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. I can't wait to see how that works up. It's really pretty. But he found all these different ones that I didn't find. Now this one's called, oh, this one I know I have, the Yam Jelly. This one I know I showed you. Okay, then he found this one. It's called Monarch Mustang. Monarch Mustang. Now this has 62 yards. It's the Antoinette yarn bee. $1.24, $4.99 is normal. And it's like confetti in a roll. Confetti on a string. Isn't that beautiful? He found all these really pretty ones that I'm like, either they just put them out or I missed them, but he found them. Because he found all of them. Now this one's Merry Little Mariner. 295 yards. It was $4.99. It's the Baby Bee for $1.24. And it's got dark blues, light blues, whites. And then it goes into like this baby blue, kind of. And that one I just showed you. Okay, now this one is called Pop-Up Shop. Now this one is 62 yards. It's the Antoinette, $124, and it's $4.99 normally. But look at those greens. There's greens, there's yellows, and then it turns into this blue. So it's really pretty. And then he fell in love with this one. It's excuse me. It's called Feeling Gradient. 590 yards, $1.74, and it was $6.99. And the color of this one is Bouquet Through Day. Let's see, you got your center pull. I pulled out the middle. But isn't that pretty? And it's really soft. And this whole thing is squishy. I don't know how that would be to crochet with, but we'll try it and see. I mean, it's thin strings, but they're fuzzy. So we'll see how it turns out. And we were, so I was talking with some of the new people, and thank you all for leaving the wonderful comments about Peanut and all the prayers, and thank you for everything. It was really sweet, and I loved it. And me and Robert were just like watching ridiculousness, and they had all these little kids on there, and I was thinking about Sadie and how I always say squishy, everything's squishy. Well, I didn't know I was pregnant, and I found out when I was 3 months. And so I went to the doctor and I told him, man, I got the flu, I'm so sick, I don't know what's wrong with me. And the doctor does some tests and stuff, comes back and says, yeah, well, you have 9-month flu. I said, what? He goes, yeah, you have 9-month flu. You're pregnant. Now, I had already lost my first baby, and I was already divorced. I had just left him. We were getting divorced. And so they told me that I could never have kids, that I could get pregnant, but I wouldn't be able to have them because of my blood type. When you're a negative, if you don't catch it right away, it attacks the baby. So he started me right away on my shots. Every week I had to go in and have a shot to neutralize my blood so it didn't kill the baby. And so I had to do that every week through my whole pregnancy. And then Sadie was a month early. She was supposed to be born in April, the end of April. She came March 7th. And he said, well, I want you to realize the baby's going to be small and don't worry, and I'm like, okay. Well, he almost dropped her. Well, I didn't know what she was. And so he goes, it's a girl, and he almost dropped her. She was 8'5". She's our biggest girl in our family. Now, my nephew Eric, he is the biggest boy. He was 11 pounds. So when he was born, we had to take everything back. We had to get 3 to 6 month clothes to fit him. The newborn stuff's gone, the newborn diaper's gone, everything is gone. We had to change all into bigger everything because he was 11 pounds. So when you're trying to carry him in that carrier and you're doing like this, like you could only do a few steps, you had to set it down like, oh my God, he's huge. He's now 6'3", big bulky guy, and he's my boy. He's so beautiful. And he's very happy. He's with his girlfriend, and they moved in. They live out in California now, so we call and check in with each other all the time and stuff, and it's nice. I mean, I'm glad he's happy. I'm glad he found someone. And so he was there when I had Sadie. He was there when Kristen and Eric were both there when I had, Kristen and Eric were brother and sister. They're my niece and nephew from my brother. So they were around when both of them came, and then Sadie, then I had Corey. And Corey, I kind of knew I carried him different, so I kind of thought it was a boy, but I didn't want to know. I wanted to be surprised because you only get 2 chances. Everybody wants to know now. Oh, we're going to have reveal parties and this. I'm like, why not be surprised? I mean, because that's the greatest feeling when you have it and they're going, it's a girl, it's a boy, it's a girl. I love it. It's fun. But, this new generation likes to do everything different, so it makes them happy. Go at it. But I like to be surprised. So my son is, he's now 24. Sadie's 25. I had him, no, he's going to be 24 in August. And, he met a girl that's his perfect match. And Sadie met her husband in the Air Force. They got married. So they're all doing really good. Kristen's married. And now Kristen's going to have it. And she found out it's a girl. So now Sadie had a boy. Now we're going to have a girl. My adopted niece, little Cindy, who I've known forever since she was little, was my brother's best friend's niece. And she went everywhere with us. And she's having a girl. So I was like, crazy. And then Robert's nephews found out they had a girl. The other nephew had a boy. So we're doing boy, girl, girl, girl. So there's a lot of them all coming out. So we got them everywhere. You know, and I can't wait to meet them all. And I can't wait to see them because, you know, there's nothing better than babies. Okay, now... Oh, I was telling you, before I forget, I was telling you about my squishy factor. Why I love squishies and how you cannot fool kids. You think that you can trick them, and you can't. They know it. They are so smart. They catch on. They watch everything, and they know. So Sadie, before Sadie was born, I bought her. I didn't know if it was a girl, but I bought this doll anyway. And it was a little play school doll. Her body's all cotton, and then her little face is that vinyl. And she's just beautiful. She's got like the little bed hat on that they used to wear, you know, to keep their hair from getting all fuzzy. And so I had it in the box and I kept it just in case, you know, I had a girl. So doll has been around since before she was born. So she took this doll everywhere with her. Everywhere we went, Squishy had to go. Because she's squishy, and she had this little thing in there like the dog toys do, and it's squeak, creak, squeak, creak, all night long, all day long, every day. Well, finally the squeaker broke. And this doll, everybody said, you could tell she's well loved. I'm like, yeah. I mean, she had little rips on her that Sadie would not let me fix. Was like dirty, so she'd have a fit when I'd put her in the washer. I'd put her in a pillowcase, tie it up, wash her, put her in the dryer, and Sadie would just wait right there waiting for her to come out. I'm like, nobody's going to take her, I promise you. So she went into a biting phase, and she chewed a little spot on her cheek. So I'm like, okay, it's time to change this doll. So luckily I went back. I found the exact same doll. So I took Squishy, and Sadie's hunting for her. And she said, where is she? Where is my Squishy? Where is my Squishy? I can't sleep without my Squishy. And I said, okay. I said, well, I took Squishy to the doll doctor to get fixed. So we will have her back tomorrow. Okay, that was a rough night. So I have to wait for her to go out with Grandma, with my mom, you know, so I could get Squishy out of the box and get the box put in the can and everything before Sadie saw it. So I had hid the first Squishy. I put the new Squishy on the couch, and then when she came back from ice cream with Corey and my mom, I told her Squishy was home from the doll doctor. And she grabs Squishy, and she's hugging her, and she's smelling her, and Sadie has to smell everything. She's smelling her, and she goes, this is not Squishy. I said, it is Squishy. She goes, no, it's not Squishy. It doesn't smell like Squishy. It's not Squishy. I'm telling you, they lied. They took my Squishy. Okay, now she's having a fit. She's in a full-blown meltdown. I finally went in the closet. I got the doll, and I said, okay, here. I tried to fix Squishy, but I can't fix the little bite mark. I can't, you know. So and she goes, well, no, this one squeaks, and Squishy still doesn't squeak. And now now she had Squishy and Squeaker. So I said, okay, how about if we do an operation, and we take the Squeaker out of Squeaker and put it into Squishy. So we did that. So now she's got Squishy, who squeaks, and she's got Squeaker, who doesn't squeak. So she carried both of them around. I have both dolls. I made 2 little quilts for them. I have a little display case that they're going into. You know, my memory for me. I don't think she'll ever want them, but if she does, they're there. But it was a memory for me. So you cannot fool kids, just so you know. You know, they catch on so quick you don't even know it. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple more. And I just wanted to let you know a little bit more about me because we're getting some new subscribers to our family. And I love all my Yarny friends. I love my bestie Yarny. And it's just a great group of girls and guys, and their families support them. And then it's also some place for us to go and talk when nobody else wants to listen to us anymore. So it's nice. And they're, you know, you can't get a better group of people. I mean, I have on my Facebook, I have people that I met when the kids were 2 and 3. And it was through People's Pets. People magazine had a Facebook group for People's Pets. And you'd go on there and you'd put pictures of your pets and stuff on there. And me and a group of the ladies we just talk all the time. We share everything. If somebody loses a pet, we all join in. Everybody pitches in. We get, and Maxine goes and she orders, like, they get a wind chime and they get a plaque with a picture of their dog or cat, and then these beautiful sayings on there. So she puts it up. We all vote on which one we want. I mean, they're all beautiful, so it doesn't really matter. And, you know, the more people that are in it, the less you pay per person. And sometimes, like, if somebody doesn't have it and the other one does, we'll say, hey, don't worry, I'll cover you. Don't worry. You know, because you don't want somebody to feel bad, you know, if they don't have a few dollars on them at that time. And everybody wants to join in. So after all these years, we're still friends. They had stopped People's Pets after, I think it was 4 years we were all together. Then we didn't want to lose each other, so we put our own Facebook group together so that all of us could stay together, so we would all be on there. So we all share pictures and baby pictures and stories and heartbreak and everything, and that's wonderful. And, you know, and now I have my YouTube family, my crochet family, that I just think I'm just so lucky to have everybody, because it's nice, you know. And they were all there for me when I lost my mom, because I basically cracked up after losing her. You know, she fought colon cancer for years, like 5 years. And then they did 3 surgeries. The first one they told me, oh, don't worry, she's fine, everything's good. A year later it came back. Went through it again. We'd sit for 8 hours. Then me and Mom would just sit there and we'd write songs and crochet, and I started making her hats because she lost all her hair. And then I started making hats and leaving them in the front and donating them to other patients who didn't have hats like that. And I remember the last time, you know, she was so frail from the chemo. She broke her hip, so the ambulance had to come and get her. They did emergency surgery, and she had a locking mechanism on her hip, which is metal, to let her walk. Well, she was being stubborn and wouldn't listen. And so I told her, I said, Sophia, turn over and get up. You have to get up. You can't let this win. And the lady's like, Sophia, I thought this was Ellen. I'm like, no, she's my Sophia. She's your Ellen. Because we called each other Sophia and Dorothy from the Golden Girls. And I just remember you know, I got mobbed by my family about taking her to why she was in surgery for her hip. I got mobbed by them telling me that I need to put her in the hospice care. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. She's going home with me. If she needs anything, I'm there for her. No. Well, after she came out of surgery, they said it would be a while. So my aunts stayed, all my aunts stayed there. And Vicky, my sister, Kristen, Sadie, we all went to the hospice center. And I'm not saying that it's a bad place. It was a beautiful place. It's just, when I walked in there, I just got hit with this like feeling of death. And I know, you know what it is, that's their last stop and everything. I know that. But I'm like, I'm not putting Mom in here. She's coming home. So you guys can look, have whatever you need. I said, check it out. And I mean, they had beautiful rooms and TVs. And for a lot of people that, you know, didn't have somebody with them, they at least would have a nurse with them when they passed, or, you know, anything. Well, right when we were in the middle of looking around, the nurse from the hospital calls me and says, Cindy, oh my God, Cindy, you must come back. You must come back. And I said, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Is something wrong with my mom? She goes, oh, Cindy, she's screaming for you. All she says is, Cindy, Cindy. I tried talking to her. She don't want to listen. Come here. So we jumped in the car. We flew back to the hospital. They all ran up in the room with me, and we go in there, and she's sitting there crying, and she goes, I thought you left me. And I said, Mom, why would I leave you? We just went out for a little bit so you could rest, and we came back. So I slept, you know, in there, and then I brought her home, and they set her up with the hospice and everything. And she always told me that if she was to pass away, hell would freeze over before she would ever go in the ground. And she passed away, which is really weird because me and my niece were there with her. The kids were sleeping, and me and my niece we put our hospital bed there, and we had the couch and love seat right next to her. So we slept right by her. And I knew when it got to the point of, she made me promise that if it got to the point where she couldn't eat or drink, to keep her under. She didn't want to feel anything. So that's what I did. And so we were asleep. I had just finished giving her her medicine. She stopped drinking, she stopped eating, and then I just turned out the light. Me and Kristen were in there, and Sadie had got up and said, Mom, I think something's wrong with Grandma. I got up, and she was gone. She waited for me to turn the light out. And the weird thing is my birthday is February 14th. Kristen's birthday is December 14th. She passed away on 1/4/14. The 2 14s that were by her. And I thought that was funny. Not funny, but, you know, that it would be that day with the 2 14s of us both being by her. And then the day that we had our service and stuff is the day that everything froze over. We were like 30 below zero. The ground was frozen solid. They could not do anything. You couldn't even walk outside without getting frostbite. I mean, it was crazy. And she said hell would freeze over before she went. And she was right. She really meant it. And it's easier to talk about it now, but, you know, I still miss her so much. And I know she would just love, you know, all these new places that opened up. She'd hate all these commercials that are on TV. She would definitely hate that. And, you know, but she would love to see her great-grandbaby. And, I mean, I'm sure she's watching him, and getting ready to watch the new one is coming, the little girl, Kristen's little girl. And, you know, it made me appreciate all the time that we did spend together in chemo. We talked everything. We made a beautiful song. We just told stories. She told me things that she never told me before. And, you know, I just learned so much about her, and we just had such a great time. And me and Robert had taken a break in that time because I didn't think it was fair for me to hold him down when I couldn't give him the time, because I, you know, spent it with my mom, and I didn't want to lose that. And he understood, but, you know, for 6 months I just hid away after that. I never left the apartment except to walk the dogs and stuff. And then he asked me to go to dinner. We started going back out again, and it was like we never missed any time. And it was she really meant what she said. I'll tell you that. But she was a beautiful woman, and she had stories that she could tell you that would you just would sit in awe and listen, like you would never want to even miss a word, because she was great. Oh my God, she had such wonderful stories. And she was just, you know, it was just a great time. And I hope that all of you that do have your parents still with you, you know, spend the time with them, enjoy it. Because what I wouldn't give for just one more hug, one more talk with her. But I got a lot of videos I watch. I can hear her voice all the time. And I just think people should be more happy. You know, enjoy more. You know, work is work, but it's not going to replace if you lose it. You know, lose somebody. So that's my wish for you, for all of you. Thank you for listening to my video, and I'm sorry it's long. I just went off on the telling stories. And I will be back because I have more yarn from Hobby Lobby that I wanted to show you, but this is getting a little long, so I'm going to let you go. Hugs and puppy kisses to you all. We're almost to 200, 2 and 2, you know, like